I've got some pictures that I've collected over the last year or so, setting them aside, and this collection is all Goths with cats. Turns out that's a theme that's happened before. There's a calendar that's just goth DJs with their cats. But regardless, I got one image from that. I need some water. All right, so let's see here. I've got a couple images. Maybe I'll start with Drew here. I like to mix up the way that I draw it a lot, because I like to be surprised by what comes out, you know. And so nothing like messing with your routine to make that happen. So sometimes I'll draw directly, which means just ink to paper. And sometimes I'll do like underdrawings. But I want to keep this really designy, kind of cartoony. So I'm still going pretty, what's the word? Direct. I've got ink here, but it's light. So I'm hoping that once I put black ink down and color, it'll kind of fade into the background. I did a test earlier and it barely showed up, but that's because I have the wrong pen. That's the problem. Here it is. All right, this is like ghostly, yellowy green. It's like a cream color. And that way you can kind of ghost in little marks, and then they can either influence your drawing later or not. So I guess I don't get too, what's the word, clinical about this stage. Some of it is underdrawing, like structurally, as far as deciding how things are going to be laid out, but sometimes I'll just kind of go direct, almost more like practice for the real drawing. See, like, that's why I like it light, because that looked okay, but it's too high. Okay. I think once I color this in, it won't matter that I started out with this weird tangerine color. When I'm deciding where stuff's gonna go, sometimes I'll sort of practice the shape, and just that sort of smearing blur of a line will almost look like a drawing, and you can kind of see better what that would look like a little bit. It's weird. All right, well, I can sometimes forget ears, like I almost did. Decide where his ear is going to be, and then that's it. Maybe make him look a little more gaunt. I was thinking about exaggerating his sort of Roman nose shape. I was going kind of full Mr. Incredible, but we'll see how that works out. Kind of taking advantage of the speed at which this ink comes out. If it's kind of slow, then you can take advantage and make a dry brush sort of effect, and I'm hoping that'll kind of make a little bit more of a highlighty effect on it, so it's not just dead black. What do you think of the new music? I think it's kind of relaxing. Maybe I should start tagging this as ASMR videos. Just trying to mix up the sound a little bit. Make it easier to understand what I'm saying and make it cheaper. Not trying to license stuff forever. I gotta say, I love organ music. Like, it kind of sounds. What are the sounds of your childhood? You know, like organ music is one of them. Before going into that, I would also say, let's see. I was thinking about John Carpenter too, like the sounds that John Carpenter music, you know, in his movies, he did all the music. So that like synthy sort of basic, almost self-taught kind of sound. I'm not sure exactly if he's self-taught or what, but that like really informed the 80s and all 80s movies and TV so much that you don't even realize how like nostalgic that sounds. And then, you know, younger people hear that and they're like, hey, it's Stranger Things. It's fine. First time I really got into surf music was after Pulp Fiction came out, right? But as far as like organ music, there was Pizza and Pipes. I don't know if you're old enough to have been around for that, but there was like this pizza restaurant. I think it was kind of a thing, and you know, it was sort of a formula for a pizza restaurant, and different restaurants would do it. But the one near me was called Pizza and Pipes, and they had a Wurlitzer organ, and they'd make you pizza, and somebody would play live organ music. Man, that was cool. It's just such like a thick, rich sound to it that you can't fake with synthesizers or whatever. Like vibrates your chest. And then I don't know if I'm making up memories, but I think that the Snoopy Ice Arena in Santa Rosa, where I grew up, I think they had organ music, at least some of the time. I don't think they really did pop music when I was a kid. So just like hearing that organ music reverberating through the ice rink, you know, was really kind of magical. And yeah, I'm old enough to have gone skating at the Snoopy Ice Arena when Charles Schultz would be hanging out there drinking his hot chocolate with us. Not me specifically, I guess, but, you know, hanging out there. It's weird, if you draw cat eyes the wrong way, they'll look kind of mad or evil, but it's not. He looks relaxed, even though the eyes are kind of slanted up. I don't really know exactly what's going on there. I don't know about you, but this brings up cat memories for me. I've had a lot of cat relationships over my life. Don't have any now, and I don't think I ever will again, but we can go into that later. Okay, so this part you don't want to fudge too much. There's like some fur and some more fur, but there is an actual hand under here that you don't want to just fudge. Fudge meaning make some marks and hope that it passes is what you're trying to do. Okay. Oh yeah, cat memories. Okay, so when I was like in maybe first grade, what is that, like 6 years old? We got our first cats in the house, and I think it was like a, oh, what was it at that point? It was like, oh, first we got a black cat and I named it Junior. And I guess I was kind of a lonely kid. And so I'd like play with my cat, or I'd be walking around the neighborhood and I'd see other cats. And around then I discovered that I could make this cat. What's going on, Raven? Yeah, there's something about Goths and cats. They love their cats. But anyway, I figured out that I could make this cat noise with my mouth. And I guess I have to attempt that now that I've brought it up. Don't quite have the cheek strength that I had as a kid, but it was like, right? And I think that that's kind of how people do Daffy Duck too. I'm not sure. Daffy? Wait. Donald. I can't do Donald. Anyway. I figured out that I could make this noise, and when I would do it around cats, they would like respond, you know, like they'd be like, what? I sort of picture like if somebody that didn't speak English tried to just like do an impression of what English sounds like to me, I'd be like, that sounds really strange and familiar, but I don't know what you're talking about. I think that's what the cats were saying when they heard me making this noise. But I'd walk around the neighborhood and try to talk to cats, and then at some point I decided that I was really communicating with them and I was part cat. And I was not part cat, but you know, for the sake of this video, I'm bringing it up. But I think that I just really enjoyed doing that and tripping out the cats. And I went to a new school at some point in first grade. Like I moved schools, and like in the first week that I was there, I was making that noise. Like, yeah, it was like, I don't think it was recess, but it was like outdoor playtime of, you know, some kind of PE sort of thing for first grade, where we were supposed to be doing like some kind of structured play, and I was making that noise while goofing around. Come to think of it, my son makes goofy, weird noises while he plays too, and I don't know if that's hereditary or if that's all kids. I have no idea. Anyway, this girl named Kelly, this girl, Raven says that would make a convincing cat noise. Yeah, it trips him out. But I was making that noise, and this girl Kelly like didn't like it, and she told on me. Let's see, I'm looking for black now. Okay, black. Yeah. So she told on me, and I got in trouble. And the first grade teacher, she pulled me into the classroom like alone, and kind of pointed to this big poster on the back wall and was like, "These are the rules for class. You need to know them, and I know you're new, but you got to figure this out and obey these rules." And I just looked at it and was just like thinking, I have no idea how to read, you know? Speaking of miscommunicating. Okay, tangent. That girl became like the girl all throughout school that everybody had a crush on, you know? Isn't that so weird when you're in school and everybody would crush on the same person? Like just really obliterate your chances of having any sort of experiences with anybody because everybody's obsessed with the same person that's, we'll just call out of your league. It doesn't help that I was kind of a greasy, weird kid, kind of feral. my parents weren't really around, so I was kind of like figuring it out for myself most of the time. So I had no chance with this girl, but we were all kind of obsessed with her, including me. And just like thinking back, like how much of my personal, like, what's the word? Sense of worth, even, or chances with girls or whatever, was informed by interactions with this girl, which is so ridiculous. Like, who cares? In retrospect, like, who cares about like one girl in your hometown that you hadn't even had contact with since like age 14, maybe 13. But there's just like, when there's just a couple experiences that get burned into your psyche, you're like, oh, that's who I am, that's what I'm worth. And that girl that I crushed on told me. And I actually ran into her on Facebook a couple of years ago because she ended up working at an office with one of my friends and was like having a going away party. And I was like, oh, hey, it's me from school. And she's like, oh, yeah, I kind of remember you. It's like, to think that the number of memories that I have about this person versus the number of memories that she has about me, right? That's pretty silly. But I think that a lot of people do that. But these are supposed to be cat stories. When you're a kid, all right, don't anybody cancel me. I'm just bringing up stuff that I did before I knew better, which is what being a kid is. But you don't know what cruelty even, like, hopefully, don't know what cruelty is or looks like when you're a little kid. And when I was that age, we had that black cat, Junior. We would get those football helmets that you'd like get a sundae at Dairy Queen, and they'd come in like a football helmet. And they're cat head sized. So we put them on the cat and she'd go running around trying to get it to come off. Mean. If I spoke cat, I think I would know that I shouldn't be doing that, huh? Then that cat ran away for some reason. I'm trying to get like the little indication of that lighting from the flash. This was clearly a flash photo. And then there is kind of a yellowy cast to his skin, so I might as well take advantage of this color here. So then that cat ran away, and like trying to track down a black cat in your neighborhood is pretty ridiculous. They all look exactly like this one. I guess some of them have longer hair than others, but very generic looking. So then we got another set of cats, and one was a male who I named Striker, because that was one of my characters that I'd come up with when I was drawing barbarians at that point. So I named it after one of my barbarian characters, and then the other one we just named Calico because it was a calico. And that name's quickly morphed into just calling her Kitty, which is some kind of con supernusempone sort of way of naming your cat, but oh well. And that cat, the boy ran away right away. But Calico Kitty stuck around pretty much the entire rest of my childhood and into teenage years, and then finally kind of got lost when my mom moved and had to take the cat to my brother's house, and it just wasn't used to the new house and kind of took off or something. I don't know. Probably shouldn't have been let outside, but it had always been an inside-outside. But that cat was great. It was a girl, and she was sweet, and would even play sometimes when she was old. And she would bring me dead things that I didn't know about that were like behind my bed often. Last week I talked about trying to make sure your pens don't smudge, but I'm kind of taking advantage of that in spots on purpose to kind of get a little easy shading, get a little bit of that 5 o'clock shadow. Why not use the ink that's there? Yeah, I think the only problem is I don't quite have enough hair to cover his head. Let's get a little more hair in here. Get sort of a hairy indication of the other eye, you know? Just kind of get impressionistic there. That's good. I'll let that dry for a minute. Oh, you know what? He needs... Sorry, I didn't realize how much of this was cropped out by the frame. I'll move this up a little bit. Oops. Can do the same sort of trick. Kind of go around his forms here to kind of have that flash look, kind of washed out. And that's it. The hair's almost dry, and then I'll add a little bit more blue, and then it'll be done. That works. Maybe I'll sign this one. All right, who's next? You know, I've got a picture of Robert Smith holding a cat, so I might as well do that one, right? While there's still time. I've started, now that I've got this set up, to be able to do overhead drawings in real life, not on the iPad. I'm using the iPad to be my, reference. So I've got a Pinterest board going. And for this one, I put a little board together just of today's photos that I hope to work from. So I might keep doing that, and then maybe add the highlight reel or something in there with it. Okay, Robert Smith holding the cat. I think I'm going to do this kind of smaller and a little bit taking more liberties with his image here, because the actual photo is kind of cropped pretty close and no detail in his hair, so I'm gonna have to kind of make that up. Or maybe I'll find another photo of him real quick, we'll see. All right, where was I? Okay, so I'm gonna figure out where his ear is. When somebody's at a sort of unusual angle, not that mugshot angle, you gotta figure out where is the ear and where are the eyes, and they're all kind of wrapping around like an oval here. Well, almost had it. Robert Smith has an interesting nose. Have you ever noticed that? It's kind of a blurry picture, it's hard to tell, but he's almost got like the kind of nose that would be big but isn't, you know, kind of rounded, I think. And then he's got like kind of a little bit of a Leno down here. Might exaggerate that a little bit. This got weird. I'm gonna try to fix it, but it might need to be started over. Yeah, I don't like this. And there is one of the beauties of watching an artist live. You get to see that not nearly close to everything is gold. And I love how, like, oh, I don't know, it's always a risk. And that used to cause me a lot of anxiety, like, oh God, if it turns out not good, that means there's proof out there that I'm not a good artist. But just like everything else, you got to do multiple takes and just go with the best one. That's what actors do. I'm gonna try something a little different. Get like a basic shape. Again, just kind of guessing about his hair. Try to make the kitten as small as possible. Well, if I had really seen what a crazy angle this is, I don't know if I would have taken it on, to be honest. It's like he's sitting on the floor, and the photographer came over and took a picture of him from above, but his head is tilted, so it doesn't look like you're looking down on his head so much. It's pretty crazy. I'm way off about the ear, but that's okay. I'll just move it. More like back here, I guess. Well, this drawing might just be our little secret. Nobody needs to see it if it doesn't work out. Except right here, right now. Well, I just don't know about this one. Do you ever watch Bob Ross and like he'd put down some stroke or other and you'd be like, oh, he messed it up. That's too bad. And then he's just not done. And he would add more and work on it, and suddenly it would look like it was on purpose, at least. And then who knows? Was it a happy accident? Let's see, when I was, how old was I? Like early 20s. I was living with someone and she loved cats. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do like a cats for Christmas, a kittens for Christmas situation, you know, like the surprise cats. And I did, and she loved it. And I got two. They were both in the same shelter together. And one was like super outgoing, and one was shy. And I figured, you know, together they'll do better. And again, those two stuck around for a long time. Excuse me. And they never went outside. And what is the point of that story? I guess the point of the story is they were around for so long and they were only, this is it, they were only inside cats. So that meant a litter box. And I just don't think as a kid we'd always had the cats as like inside outside cats. You know, they just jump out the window whenever they needed to go, and they'd jump back in when they want to hang out. They were kind of on their own that way. It was a different time. So with a cat box, there's just like, oh, no matter how much you're on top of it, and it was my job to take care of the box, but regardless, there's always cat litter underfoot in the house, you know? And I just don't think I can go back to that. Walking around on crunchy, dirty cat litter. They always get out and just like shake their back feet, and just like cat litter would just go flying everywhere. You know what I like about Goths with cats? They're smiling, they're happy, you know? These are just snapshots of people living their lives, Robert Smith and otherwise. I don't really respond to like the posed stuff at home so much, you know, the modeled photos of brooding and such. Why does this look more like Morrissey than... You know what else sucks about having cats? They die. You know, like, you're just setting your whole household up for heartache sooner or later. Why does it look like he's gonna eat the cat? Oh well. You can't draw every hair. You don't want to draw every hair, so you just gotta think of it in clumps more. So now I'm feeling a little lost because really can't tell what his hair looks like from this photo, so I might have to switch photos when I'm ready here. I guess I'll do other stuff. Forgot to turn off the autofocus today. Sorry if it's getting crazy. I don't know how I don't know how dark to go on this, but the cat situation. The last time I had one, or a few, one of them, another black cat that we'd had for a long time, and she got lymphoma, and so we ended up like driving this cat to the vet like once or twice a week to get fixed up. And it just hated, of course, all cats hate that, but it just hated going to the vet, hated getting stuffed into the carrier. And because it was so frequent, now, it sees you coming and is extra mad over the situation, and just got, like the vet says, when to put the cat to sleep when his like quality of life is affected, and then you're in charge of judging when that is. And honestly, my wife at the time was the main judge, deciding when this was gonna take place or not take place, and when it was appropriate to put this cat to sleep. But we held off way too long, and the cat went blind and just couldn't follow through soon enough. They must have ruined like 4 or 5 different couches, and at first it took a while to figure out what the cat was doing, and then I turn over the couch and there's just like encrusted with its misdeeds, And so I was preparing to go to Comic-Con and just setting out boxes of things that we'd be bringing, all my merch and wares and whatnot. And this cat, this new one, jumped into the box of my prints and peed on them all like it was a cat box. I was so mad, and I was like, we gotta get rid of this cat. We gotta like surrender it. There's no training it out of the peeing. And she was like, absolutely not. And that was it for that discussion. That cat's probably still around, but I'm not, so whatever. Well, I guess I'll fill in some color first and then figure out what his hair looks like better. So I don't want the colors to bleed too much on this one, so I'm going to just try to be quick. It's an alcohol marker on a waterproof pen, so it shouldn't bleed too much, but there's a little bit. But if I move fast enough, it won't be too bad. Look at that. Just make it look on purpose, I guess. I'll move and show you in a second, but it bled after all, but I'm just going to make it look like it was on purpose and kind of rock and roll. You know, I'm not going to lie, there's probably a half dozen Cure songs that I really like, but I just never really got into them. I never bought any albums or anything. I think just the voice isn't really my jams, to be honest. Like musically it's great, but you know, the guitar and whatnot, but just not into the voice. Love cats. How have we gone this far without talking about, I'm going to move this so you guys can see in a second, but how have we gone this far drawing Robert Smith with a cat without talking about the song Love Cats? It's a great song. It's fun, and nobody really even knows what it means, or, you know, it's sort of hard to pin down. Well, I went orange because I wanted just a consistent color scheme today, but it's looking a little prison-y, so I'm going to have to make sure that looks less prison-like. Let's see, yeah, right there. Artist tape. It's like painter's tape, but even lower tackiness. So usually it doesn't rip up your paper. You can just pull it on and off as much as you want. Buy it, use it. Okay, I'm going to try to find another picture of Robert Smith real quick. Because, oh, here's one. Look at that. Okay. And here's a better version of the same photo. All right. I'm just gonna try to use the top of his head like in this photo here, even though it seems to be a little bit different hairstyle. One thing that I'm gonna do that you can do if somebody's head angle is kind of confusing, just change it and, you know, change the angle of your actual drawing. There's no cheating. Like, it just gets kind of confusing when you're looking at the head from certain angles, so why not? Because I noticed I was having his hair kind of go straight up on the page, but since his head is down like this, it needs to go straight up this way more. And this marker is one of the alcohol markers in black, so it's a little more defined looking and chiseled. It doesn't have that dry brush look. And the ink is cheaper. Remind me to put a link to these alcohol markers in this video, because I'm happy with them. They're like a quarter of the price of the Copic brand that professionals use, but they seem to work fine for me. I wasn't even really sure how much I would like working with markers, so I didn't want to spend $200 on markers, you know. But I like it, so anyway, it was a good investment. These were like $75, something like that, for like 100. That's pretty good. You know, this photo has got a couple tendrils coming down over his ear, and I think I'm going to take advantage of that because it was looking a little severe in the ear. Switch back to this guy. You can't really see it, but I'm doing a little technique where I've got my wrist propped up on my other wrist, so I can kind of do some big sweeping motions. I guess the lesson with drawing messy, wild hair is to get a feel for it from looking at it, you know, and then draw that feel, but trying to copy each shape on somebody's hair is not how I want to go. People will get it, right? I don't know what I'm trying to go for here. It's Morrissey with Robert Smith hair, so that's weird. I think what I'm gonna do is go back to that first picture. I've got this pen, Micron, and it's an 005, which I believe is the smallest tip you can get. And I don't know how it's going to work on video. We'll see. But it's great because, like, you can almost do like your underdrawings with it. It's so light. And then you can build up. And so if I'm doing something that's supposed to have like a Edward Gorey look, you know, with like a lot of hatching, might as well use this. No need to dump or dunk it into some kind of ink basin. You can work pretty quickly, but it'll allow you to do a lot of hatching. And I'm not going to go nuts because this is a live video. Why would I go nuts? But I'm gonna, My family just rolled out of here and then rolled back, so I wonder what they forgot. You know, my fun is to get the white pen. Also, trying to draw a chain realistically will drive you insane. I didn't mean for that to rhyme. I'm sorry. So I just go impressionistic on that too. Just put the idea in there, as long as it kind of lines up right. Are we streaming okay? Is it looking all right? It's looking a little out of focus on my end here. I hope it looks okay for you. Oh, okay. I got another cat story. One more cat story. This one's cheerier, I guess. My mom inherited this cat named Tootsie from a woman who I think also died of cancer. This story's going to get better. But it was an older woman, you know, and she lived alone, and she had this cat named Tootsie, and then she died, and she had expressed that my mom should take her before she died, obviously. And this cat was the size and shape of a manhole cover, work hole cover. I bring up these work hole covers every stream now. So what is the point of bringing up Tootsie that's the size of the manhole cover? It just seemed really uncomfortable. It was so enormous, and anytime you came near it or tried to pet it, it would just go like, gah, gah, like kind of complain at you, you know. And I would beg my mom. I don't, you know, she's an adult and I'm an adult, don't live with her anymore, so not in charge of this sort of thing. But I was like, you gotta, you know, pay closer attention to how much this cat is eating, and, you know, kind of regiment it better, because she would just have the no fuss, no muss setup where you got the giant container of cat food and it all just kind of naturally pours down into this, you know, what do you call it? It would go down this chute and then land in the bowl. So every time the cat would eat, it would just automatically refill. And that cat should not have been left alone with such a device. But Tootsie never went on a diet, and well, Tootsie's no longer with us either. But I did a nice portrait of that cat, looking enormous and driving like a Model T or something. For some reason, I was obsessed with drawing animals in cars for a while, a couple of years ago. All right, well, I think the last thing I'm going to do here is fix his shirt so he doesn't look like he's in prison. Got this same dark blue, which might look more interesting than black. We'll see. I'm not going to try to get too perfectionist about it with these dots, but do have to be careful to not make it look like some kind of Fred Flintstone outfit. I think I'm going to use this same color here to make like a little shadow like in the photo. Oh my God, it's a cat memory dump. Have you ever been responsible for losing somebody's cat or worse? I just remembered that my brother and his wife have always had a lot of pets. And they would at any time, especially when they were younger, they would have like, I don't know, like 6 cats and 2 dogs and birds and lizards and a snake, and it was like Noah's Ark at their house. And one time I went over to their house, and at this point they probably had like 3 or 4 cats. And I don't remember what happened. I think one of them was like meowing at the door. And I just thought that they were like inside outside cats, like when we were growing up. And they weren't, and I let it out. And so then I had to be like, oops, I didn't realize that it wasn't an outside cat. And now we have to like walk around the neighborhood and look for this cat and be like looking over the neighbors' fences. All right, I think I got Robert's. Sorry if this is looking choppy and bad. We've been having a lot of internet problems lately, and then you go outside and like the AT&T people have the signs out and directing traffic around their work and stuff. I have no idea. Okay, I wanted to do one more at least. So let's put a button on Bob. Don't normally want to draw individual eyelashes on people, but in this case, might as well. Trying to make him look more happy and less like he's going to eat the cat. Oh, I think I'm going to need some red. Why not use scented markers? Just for fun. Oh yeah, that smells like cherry. And that's going to possibly bleed more because it's water-based, but we'll just have to watch out for that. To be careful around there to kind of exaggerate the highlight so it doesn't all just turn red-black. Oh, and then it'd be nice to do like a little upper lip, but this one isn't going to go that thin. Well, I guess we'll just have to exaggerate it because I don't have another red pen nearby. That's fine. Now it really looks like Morrissey cosplaying Robert Smith. Huh. Oh well, what can you do? Let's do one more, and then I'll call it good. I missed his sleeve here. All right, we'll get one more sheet here. Maybe I'll do some kind of lightning round, which apparently has something to do with going fast in sports or games or something. I don't know. Maybe I can bring this up a little bit and not be completely out of focus. No. Okay. All right, lightning round. Let's see, I want to get some new pictures. This guy. I'm awful with stars names, but he looks like the youngest guy in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Okay, so let's see here. Maybe I'll just use an office style ballpoint. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Looks like this guy lives in my neighborhood from the photo. Awfully rustic. Or I guess he could be at a park, I don't know. Did you have an earring in the 80s? I never did that. There's always so much talk in the 80s of like, which ear is it in? Is it in your right or your left? What does it mean? I don't know if that ever meant anything to anybody for real. I think if I had gotten an earring, I think I might have coveted the battle axe, you know, the hanging battle axe, sort of rocker, death rocker. That wasn't really my style in high school, though. Honestly, I dressed somewhere between Michael Hutchins from NXS and Urkel. I don't know. I was kind of a dork. Then in high school, or senior in high school, I was mostly interested in like the REM look, or sort of a mix between REM and They Might Be Giants. That sort of alternative college look, you know. do you get an eye to sort of show up under blonde hair? All right, so he's got the cat up here. Doesn't look comfortable. His thumbnail isn't really showing in the picture, but I'm just assuming that it's kind of black and chipped. Man, this cat is tough because she's like writhing to get out of this person's arms. Tough to draw, I mean, I don't know. Huh. Alright, that works. I kind of like lightning round style more. If it's not going to look good anyway, well, you know. Oh, that's sad. Well, if this guy ever ends up this guy ever ends up in a coloring book more finalized or something, I'll have to catch it next time. But he's doing this great, like, legs crossed sitting on the fence thing, and I kind of ran out of room down here to show that. Kind of making it up down here because that's not in the photo. All right, that's fine. All right, so this cat is black and white, and so is the model, so I have to change some things to make something show up better. Although I guess I already put his or her fur in there, kind of black, but oh well. Another reason I'll never have another cat, I don't think. Well, first of all, there's not that push at home to, like, there's no lobbying for a cat going on, except for my son every once in a while. But the claws. They're always there, and the cats that I had for so long as an adult, like, you'd be asleep and one would jump up onto the bed, and they kind of land on their back paws first. And all that weight of those back paws and claws would just go right into, like, the undersides of my feet, like the soles of my bare feet while I'm asleep. I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah, you get a little knee there, you get the idea. If things move and shift while you're drawing, like as far as the location of stuff, it's a lot easier to change where some clothes are going, you know, how the clothes are laying on a person. That's a lot easier than trying to change the anatomy of somebody's, you know, body. So, like, I think I got his hand okay, and then I'll just change where the clothes are a little bit. Leave some feedback if you're watching this for next time. Woo! What was my point? I'm going to make sure that this is in better focus next time. I missed that. Sorry. It keeps shifting around in autofocus. But what do you like? Do you like the colored longer pieces? I'm kind of liking this just black and white direct. And going through as many Goths as I can. And while you're leaving feedback, what do you think about some other subject matter? I don't know. I've got some new wavers, you know, just like trendier 80s people I could draw, or who. Might have to be a different show, you know, try to get in more often with this stuff. That's why I'm going cameraless this time, because it's a lot of extra time with setup to have the camera and the lighting and all that stuff. So I'd rather just get on more. I don't know, I just thought maybe the cat could be blue and white to kind of differentiate. That's another thing you can change easily, is the spots to kind of make things show up the way you want them to. I want to make his hand show up better. And let's see, I think I want to have these legs show up a different way too. They're like faded stretch pants in the photo, so I think I'm just going to do some hatching in here instead of a marker, just to make it something different. Oh, and then I think, let's see, what could we do? Maybe we'll use some marker for the jacket and stuff, because it looks all reflective right now. This is just a warm gray, medium tone here. And of course now I've got to make the hair a little bit more blonde, I think. Well, what is this here? Where's my test paper? That's too dark. Where? There it is. Good old barely there yellow. This ballpoint really bleeds, but what are you gonna do? Make it look like it's on purpose, I guess. Huh, I thought that was better about bleeding. I think I just want to add a little bit more to this face because it's looking a little severe with the hatching. And there they are. So I think we'll call it good for today. I hope we all learned something, or at least able to relax and check out while I draw. And yeah, be on the lookout for new content. I got some experimental things I'm working on for this channel and maybe on my Instagram, which is at Ben Walker-Storey. That's with an EY. You can also follow me at cheapchillsfanclub.com. No, yes, that's the URL, but also on Instagram at cheapchillsfanclub. All right, so there's going to be some new stuff on there. And we will see you guys, y'all, next time. Bye-bye.